that's us moved on to ends. So this is probably going to take a bit more of the time in terms of it's probably one movie that we both want to change the most.
I would say so, yeah.
So where do you want to start with ends?
Well, there's two versions of ends that I wouldn't mind seeing, and that involves your idea with Corey being involved in 18 kills and ends, and I would have it instead of the band geeks in this, don't have them in it at all, but that would obviously take away some things that we like.
Yeah.
But if you remove the band geeks and make the bully Cameron still, then Corey could snap at Cameron instead of the band geeks. So we've got two characters that have been built up through the movies, and it comes to a big tension in the third one. So that would make more sense.
Yeah.
If we're keeping Corey there. But another story, Corey's story, another story that I would think of, and I've mentioned it before, is not having Corey at all. He doesn't exist.
Right.
And instead of Corey, we've got Cameron. So Cameron in the first one is a dick.
Yeah.
In the second one, he redeems himself and he's a hero.
Yeah.
But his dad dies.
Yeah.
And because his dad dies and he's went through all that trauma, he's went through probably just as much trauma as Corey did at the start of Ends.
Yeah.
Maybe more. He then snaps. He's the new Corey. So we already have that established character from 18 kills and now Ends. We've got Cameron who survived. He can't deal with it. Michael's went missing. He killed his dad. He's going nuts, blah, blah, blah. And he's the one that snaps.
Yeah.
And he becomes the new Michael Myers.
Yeah. My only problem is that I just, now that I've seen Corey and the vulnerability it brings to that, like with Cameron being a dick in the first one and then being good in the second one, is it too much to be like he could turn evil? But I get what you mean.
I would play with our emotions because we're going through that journey with Cameron.
Yeah.
Seeing him being an arsehole, then seeing him being a good guy, and then he's obviously all of a sudden turned bad. But like, what are we thinking here? What's happening with Cameron? I don't want him to do this.
Yeah. I guess you could always just push him with that love triangle, because in Ends I was planning to go with Alison going towards Corey because, you know, she's kind of done with Cameron. And I was saying to you before we started recording, I'm not finalised on what I think my ending would be with that.
Yeah.
I think for me, Ends will still end the same way. But Corey's arc is just slightly tweaked to the point where he leads the cop, the Mulaney. Fuck the Mulaney's, by the way, you know.
With Doyle rules. Sorry, that was
that's exactly
Billy
what
Madison.
I was thinking. I think that's why they put it in there. Like, we need to have
the big fans of Billy Madison. With Doyle rules. I just think of that film every time I see them.
I know. But she leads the Mulaney cop into he leads the Mulaney cop into the sewer. Michael has been hibernating there for a while. So similar, keep that similar. Have him kill the cop and Corey get away. So almost Corey loses his life. He escapes. He then kills the hobo the same way as he does. And then that leads Michael to go after Corey now. So Michael's always 2 steps behind Corey. Corey's away. He's now got this clown mask persona. I think that was quite cool. And he is going on that downward spiral, not necessarily going down the infected route or the transferring of evil. He's just starting to become that naturally because nobody's been nice to him. Alison's the only one that he's been nice to, so he's of course going to try and pursue that. But also Alison becomes his Laurie. Yeah. And he goes to, I'm torn. I think he kills the DJ because the DJ fucks them about. Yeah. That explains why he did that, and it's a kill. But then Dr. Mathis's house, I think both Michael and Corey are both coming to the same point. Michael kills the nurse and Corey kills the Dr. Mathis, and then there's that glass in between the two rooms, and they just have a stare off as if like, I'm the young buck, I'm coming after your title. Yeah. And he's like, you're 2 steps ahead of me. I'm coming for you. And then that's what leads into him going back to Laurie's house, but just draw that out so that Michael's actually after Corey.
Yeah.
He's not after anybody else.
And that he leads them unintentionally to like Alison or Laurie and stuff.
Exactly. And then when obviously they're in Laurie's house, don't make that so quick.
Yeah, definitely.
Build it up. So you'll have the scene where she's away up the stairs to go and try, and you think she's going to kill herself. And I generally, see when I heard the gunshot go off,
Yeah.
I thought, fuck.
I was like, yes.
I was just like, they've not just killed her off like that. But then I was like, I get it. And have that scene. So she fights with Corey, have that play out the same. And by that time, Michael's caught up and he's kind of watching this happen almost and waiting for his moment. And somehow he stabs Corey in the throat, and that's Corey out of the game. So Corey's now voiceless and a mute. And then Laurie's hiding somewhere in the house, not exactly in the location that she was in Ends, but just have a bit of a cat and mouse, let the intensity build up a little bit, because it felt very much Corey and Laurie, and then straight into Michael and Laurie, and it was just a brutal fight. There was no tension, there was no build up.
And it all took place in the one area as well.
So you think Laurie's moving on, but she's actually just set another trap in her house for Michael. So she's not lost that. Because I felt they kind of made her back to Laurie in the original. You know, they built her up as Sarah Connor. She's always going to have that in her. But then they were like, no, we'll try and make you Laurie again.
So that's what I want to talk about as well. The whole attitude, not just with Laurie, but the whole town.
Yeah.
You know, the town didn't look like Haddonfield anymore.
No.
You remember in Halloween Kills, the whole town was rebellious. Laurie was nuts, and Michael was on the loose.
Yeah.
Now with Halloween Ends, Karen's dead. Laurie should be a lot more crazy.
Yeah.
But she's not. She's relaxed.
No.
Michael is still on the loose. She didn't even think he died. Like in 18, you could let her off because she thought he died because the house was burning down.
Yep.
But in Ends, she had no reason for her to think that he died because he just went missing after looking out the window. So she's calm, even though she knows he's not dead. The whole town's calm, even though they all know he's not dead.
Yeah.
So why is everybody so calm?
It's weird, isn't it?
So the whole dynamic changed.
If anything, like every Halloween, there should be doors shut, locked. Everybody's got a gun on them.
That's tradition. Yeah, it should be the tradition for them.
Yeah, because they're 4 years from Kills to Ends, and like every year they'll be like just waiting for Michael Myers to come back.
Yeah,
show that.
That's why I kind of like the Big John and Little John. They tell the story of Michael Myers' house, and when you come here, you die.
Yeah.
We should have that fear in Ends, but we don't. That's why I love those characters, because they even know about Michael Myers, and they tell the stories to other kids, and those kids should be telling their friends. And then with Michael going missing, that should be the tradition every year. Lock your doors, bolt your windows. You know, that kind of thing.
No parties, no nothing. Like, that for me would be a big change. We've got 2 different ideas of what we want for Corey. We need to decide on one, what we think's the best out of all the options that we've got.
Well, no, I think we've both got the same idea for Corey.
Yeah.
Because if I'm including Corey, I'd go your idea. But I would also choose an idea where he doesn't exist.
Yes.
Which then would bring in Cameron. But Cameron would end up the same way Corey did anyway.
Yeah.
So whether it's Cameron or Corey at the end, I wouldn't mind, as long as it went the way that we both said that it would go. Whereas if we get stabbed in the throat, doesn't matter if it's Corey or Cameron, stabbed in the throat, goes nuts and goes after Alison, and then, which we'll get to next, maybe.
Yep.
Maybe not.
and that's your in for another Halloween movie.
Another decade or 2.
Yeah. And you've got a young actor. It doesn't necessarily need to be Cameron, because well, maybe it would be, because he wouldn't take over the Michael Myers mask. It's a weird one, because you're like, what would he go with the same kind of mask as Corey, and then that becomes a character? Or does he just take Myers' mask? I don't know.
Well, that's it, because he obviously had the Myers mask at one point, whether it's Corey or Cameron.
Yeah.
Let's just go with Corey because that's who it was.
Yeah.
He had the mask, but obviously Michael took it back. So the mask was just sitting on the table at the end when Don't Fear the Reaper comes on. So there's nothing stopping him from getting that mask and going away with it and disappearing. And the only reason he disappears is not because he's scared of Laurie, it's because he's going after Alison, who's going to be in a different town. So that would be leading on to another movie that wouldn't be set in Haddonfield. Because Haddonfield is a character in itself. So you're taking that risk of leaving Haddonfield. But as we've seen in Halloween Ends, Haddonfield didn't really need to be there because it didn't look like Haddonfield.
No.
It's a completely different place now.
Yeah, and I think it's a good ending because you're closing the chapter on the Michael Myers
Versus
Laurie
Laurie
Strode
Strode
saga. You give Laurie Strode her happy ending, getting on with Hawkins, they become an item, and then that's her happy ending. She gets her day in the sun, and then focuses on Alison. And I think it's quite cool that if Michael, stabs Corey in the throat, he becomes a mute. His body's gone when the town go to, because they're going to be too caught up on taking Michael Myers through the town. And I did love that scene. I did love that they were going through the town and everybody was,
No.
I thought it was a good way of being like closure for everybody in that town to be like, the boogeyman's dead. We've seen it with our own eyes. We can now relax as normal humans now and get about our days without the fear.
But it was a good distraction though, because it took all the pressure off of Corey. If he survived and he can get out. And I don't know if you saw it it was a pub or the diner when they're looking at it on the news. They're saying that Michael Myers was responsible for all the deaths. So Corey never got the blame for any death. So he was innocent as far as everybody else is concerned. So if he disappears and leaves, nobody's going to be looking for him. Because he's innocent.
I didn't spot that. That's quite cool.
So Michael's responsible for it all, as far as the news was concerned.
That's a nice touch. I never saw that.
They didn't want, even Laurie and Alison went with that. They thought, let's not tarnish the town with another Corey and another Michael Myers and Corey. Let's just make Michael Myers take the blame for it all. And we can just end it. Because if they said, oh, Corey done it, then they'd be like, oh no, it can happen again.
It can happen again, you know, that's a good point. But then, would it piss Halloween fans off if there was no Myers?
Well, yes. I've always said there's two types of Halloween fans. There's Halloween fans and there's Michael Myers fans. I think fans of Michael Myers would be pissed off for definite, and I can see why. But fans of Halloween, they just want to see a Halloween film with the same vision as what they had with the original. I don't think they would mind as long as it's done right.
Because if you think about it, there's not very many ways they can go, especially with Myers, right?
Exactly.
They've gone back. Rob Zombie did the origin story. We can't have a prequel to 78 because it's going to be a bit dull. We can't have future because Myers is gone. The only other option for the way forward for the franchise is pick another timeline and go with that. And that's going to cause problems as well. But at least you've got Myers back. Whereas if you want that Halloween slasher fix, you've got another 10 years with the Corey or Cameron's story and leading on to Alison being the Laurie. Because Andy Matichek's a fantastic actress as well.
She's good.
I don't see her getting cast in an awful lot after all of this, which is a shame.
Same with Rohan Campbell as Corey. Fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant.
If those two were the future of Halloween, I'd be happy. But you're saying going back to other timelines, and another issue we have is you can change the actor for Michael Myers all the time, but you can't change the actors for people who were already in those roles. So let's say we do a sequel to Halloween 4. You can change Michael Myers, we wouldn't care. But Dr. Loomis would have to be involved in Halloween 5 or this new Halloween 5. So if you get somebody else to play him, people would just say, but he's not Donald Pleasance.
I know, and that's it. And even I thought they did a very good job with the prosthetics for the guy in Kills. I thought
that's good from a distance and for small periods. Imagine trying to do it in a full movie. You'd be like, it's just not him.
But then, do you pick a time? Do you start a new timeline where Loomis did die in 2? and Michael survived, and then but then you're going to have to continue to Laurie Strode.
Yeah, but then there's no point because the only person you would have that's prominent is Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So there's no point. So you just either start afresh with a new timeline completely, or continue on with Halloween Ends. As much as people would hate that,
Yeah.
that's the only other options for now. Or you go the anthology route where it's nothing to do with anything.
They probably haven't realised how much they fucked themselves from that. By the way,
They've put themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
Big time. Our ending, hopefully, it would be less of a stressful ending. You know.
I know. We just need a few scenes filmed. Really. We just need to get David Gordon Green on the phone and say, "Listen, mate, we've got you.
Watch this video first, and then think about it."
I know. Could you imagine if David Gordon Green watched this? You know what I mean? I would say there's a much better chance on your channel, like that. Some of these guys, you said Christopher Nelson watches.
My channel.
Like, even if he saw it, went here's two guys for Scotland who have just cracked it. But no, it's done. And I think for me, I was having this question with myself when I was doing this, the prep for this video. What do I want from the future of Halloween? Do I want it? Am I happy with it never having another Halloween Michael Myers movie? Or do I want more? I still don't know. I think that's probably because it's too soon.
Yeah.
I think there's, as we said, they've backed themselves into a corner. They can't go back the way. They can't go forward. There's only a middle area, and picking a different timeline. You're like, do you pick up from Halloween 4 or 5? Then you're going to have to go into the Cult of Thorn. That's like a no area because literally every fan hates it. Well,
almost.
Almost. Rob Zombie's Halloween was a chance for them to. If Rob Zombie made a better Halloween 2, I don't know if we would have got 2018 and Kills and Ends. I'm not sure.
Probably not.
And that could have been a franchise because you've started again, you've rebooted, but another reboot when your franchise already had a reboot.
And numerous reboots.
Yeah,
you know, it's hard.
You're then turning into Spider-Man.
Yeah. Where
you've had 2 reboots in the space of 10 years of the first one coming out.
Yeah. It's a hard one.
So, yeah, everybody's going to have their opinions of what they want, but for me, I'm okay with not having a Halloween movie.
See, I'm a bit selfish for 2 reasons. One, I just love to watch Halloween films. And I'd like to see another Halloween film to see how it goes. It could be bad, but that's the chance I'm willing to take. And also, with another Halloween film being announced, if it is, then I get to do more content on my channel.
That's true. That's very true.
So yeah, and more people would obviously watch. So,
and also, could they just be like, we're just making another Halloween movie. It's going to have Michael Myers in it, but it's not going to have any tie to any movie. And we're just going to make a Michael Myers movie.
Like they done in Friday the 13th, 2009.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
That's literally a remake, but it could be a reboot. It could be a reimagining. It could be anything. It was just a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
That's why I loved it.
I loved it as well.
So good.
I absolutely loved the Friday the 13th remake.
But they can do that. They can do that with Halloween. They can do a James Bond Halloween where every 3 or 4 films, they give us a story arc and it finishes, Michael dies, and then they start again. Give us another story with somebody else that's getting chased by Michael. Michael dies, maybe doesn't, and then they start again.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
That's true. And if people want the Laurie Strode saga, they've already got it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If people want to pick a time, because everybody will have their favourite timeline, you know.
I've got my favourite. I don't even think I've ever asked you your favourite timeline.
I would say 1:18 Kills and Ends.
Is it?
I just think overall they're the most rewatchable.
Right. They are.
Whereas Halloween 1 and 2, the original Halloween and Halloween 2 are my favourite. They're 2 that I just constantly watch. Like at Halloween, they're part of my 2 favourite movies. I know they're a lot different from each other, but I just love 1 and 2. If it ended at 1 and 2, that would be my favourite timeline, you know. Which I suppose it could be.
Well, yeah, you can. That's what I've got. Actually, an upcoming video, it might be out before this, about timelines. But you can choose your timeline, really. Yeah. You know, my timeline, my preferred timeline is Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and Halloween H2O.
That's right.
And it ends, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because that's so simple, and it's got the biggest impact for me because 20 years, they come face to face after 20 years, and then it's done.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Halloween 1, 2, and H2O. Yeah, I would probably say the same. H2O, I think, could be a lot better as well. I know you're a huge fan of it, but for me, it could be a wee bit better.
I think the only thing they could do with H2O is make it longer
Yeah.
because it's short.
Aye. I would agree with that. Yeah, a bit more. So much more they could have done with it. But we have managed to come together with a plan of David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy. Is there anything else before we finish up that we would change, or that?
No, I think we're both, and not just us two, I think a lot. The majority, I would say, I'm confident to say the majority would change, probably similar, if not identically the same things that we're changing.
Yeah.
Because I think the beef that people have with each movie is the same as ours. Like, the biggest issue in 18 is Sartain.
Yeah.
The biggest issue in Kills is probably maybe the town folk and Tivoli scene.
Yeah.
And Ends is the rushed aspect of Corey and obviously the randomness of the movie, you know, like it completely feels different to the other two films.
Would you still have, as much as I hate the scene of the mob versus Michael, would you still have that scene? But if it was shot in a better way, it wasn't so kind of music video, like would you still have that?
I would still have it, yeah, because if the mob are going to be rebellious, they're going to have to be looking for Michael, and if they find them, set it in an alleyway, set it with not the whole mob, maybe give it 3 or 4 people fighting Michael, and not making it too extreme with Michael being shot and stuff. Yeah.
I always thought as well, maybe the town should have killed the Penguin character.
Tivoli?
Yeah. Maybe the town should have killed him, and that's the moment of, fuck, look how far we've gone. We've almost turned into Michael with, you know, that could be an interesting way. I know they are responsible, but if they got their hands on him, that's kind of what I was waiting for, just them to trample him and just kill him.
Well, they would have if they caught him.
Yeah. So that would have been interesting. I think the suicide for me in another film maybe would have been a bit more impactful, but in this film I remember feeling sad for the guy, but at the same time I was just kind of like, I don't need this. I think as well,
I don't need this.
Going from personal experience as well, it kind of made me think back to that time in my life, so I was kind of like,
where people can push you and not think about the repercussions of what's happening, and
just having that headspace of I'm just going to end it, you know.
But you don't want that when you're watching a film, don't you know?
Yeah, no.
You go to a movie to escape that.
Yeah, and it's not like I can't watch a movie where there's suicide in it, you know. I think if it's done well, it's done well, but with that, maybe just it was a timing thing for me.
That's the same with me, like with the line of work that I do professionally. I see that stuff every day, and it's not needed in horror films, because horror films should be, I know you want a realistic horror film, but you want an unrealistic scenario. And a realistic scenario, it's hard to explain, but you want to escape the real world. And that was more real world social commentary than anything.
Aye, and that's my biggest argument with film in general. Is just, you don't want politics involved, because you can switch on your TV and get politics within 2 seconds. I want to go to a movie to sit down. Cinema is like my happy place. It's like my place that I feel most chilled. I love that I can have a big bag of sweets and a big ice fizzy drink or something like that, or a nice blast or whatever you call them, and just sit and enjoy a movie and switch off for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And that's what cinema is supposed to be.
I know that they say that, but we need to include these in movies because this is how people will get to see it. Well, if people are that interested, they will do what you say. They'll watch the news. If they don't want to watch the news, they don't want to know about social commentary, they don't want to know about politics, they want to watch movies to escape.
I know.
And that's what Halloween movies do for me.
Yeah, and all horror movies kind of like they're like the comfort movie almost. Absolutely. Because they can just switch off and be like, oh wow. Like but yeah, I think we've done a good job of breaking down each movie and what we would change. Considering I was 80% my notes. I was like, I've got 80% of what I think. I just haven't figured out that little bit.
Well, the other 20% could be the comments, section.
That's very true.
'Cause
So turning it to you guys.
I get a lot of ideas and inspiration from the comments as well, which is good. So if you guys think there's anything that we should have not changed, or if there's something that we missed that you think would have been good to change and would have benefited any of the films, then leave those comments down below.
Yeah.
Because I think we'll get good discussions with people that would say, well, I would do this and I would do that. And I would be like, do you know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I would do
absolutely.
this and that. So it's
We didn't think of it. So, yeah, please let us know. And we'd appreciate any response. And did you like what we had to say?
Yeah.
And what is your say? So, yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. I really appreciate it. I know Barry does as well. But can we please just get Barry to 50,000 subscribers ASAP?
But that's all right. Let's subscribe to Callum as well, though. Callum's obviously just new at the YouTube stuff. He's got the talent, he's got the knowledge as well.
you.
So hopefully you can get something out of this as well.
Yeah, and you'll be able to check out Barry and I's podcast together, which will be up there as well, if you want to get a wee bit more background on Barry.
There you go. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And we'll both see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
I want to know.